How much do you make per month?
Definitely not enough.
The working culture is something really different.
Yen is pretty weak now. Does it impact you?
Oh, terrible.
Hey guys, hi there, I'm Takashi from Japan. So today I'm going to interview foreigners in Japan. How much do you make in Japan? I'm also asking how much they pay for rent in Japan, pros and cons of working in Japan. Okay, let's get started. Thank you for your time. Where from? How long have you been in Japan? What do you do for a living?
Yeah, I'm Kai. I'm from Canada, from Calgary, and I work at a tech company as an intern here in Tokyo.
I'm from Spain. I've been in Japan for 6 months, and I'm working as an office assistant in Tokyo. I'm here on the working holiday visa.
I'm from Mexico and I've been living in Japan for 9 years, and I'm a software engineer in the game industry.
So I'm half Japanese, half Trinidadian, and I was born and raised in Canada, and I came to Japan about almost a year ago, so it hasn't been a year yet. I am part of a town revitalization team.
I'm from India, and now I'm pursuing my profession as a software engineer in Tokyo.
I'm from India and I've been there for like almost 10 years. I work as an artist in a video game company.
I'm from France, Versailles, and I've been in Japan for 8 years now. I'm a marketing manager in a foreign company. In addition of my marketing job, I also do some freelance stuff like on SNS, so I would do some consulting or just post things on my channels. So that's also another way for me to make money.
Hi, I'm from New York City, and I've been in Japan about 5 or 6 years. I'm a data scientist at a German pharmaceutical company.
I'm Tristan Juncker. I'm from Germany, Düsseldorf, Germany, and I've been in Japan for 9 years now. I run my own business now, social media marketing agency in Akihabara.
How much do you make per month, and then is it enough to live in Tokyo?
Yeah, I make about 75K, but I'm very fortunate. My rent is covered, my metro is covered, so it's all just into the wallet here.
150,000 yen. Then my rent is 90,000 yen with the utilities and everything included.
Not shared.
Not shared. It's a small room.
In my first job in Japan, like 7 years ago, I was making around 220,000 yen per month before taxes, and after taxes was around like 175,000 yen. So basically nothing. I was making like nothing. And my rent was 76,000 yen, and I was living in a 10 square meters apartment, which is super, super small.
300,000 yen, and per month I pay about 10,000 yen per month.
Wow.
To live in a house.
Because you don't live in Tokyo.
Yes, I live in Kagoshima in the countryside, so rent there is very cheap, yeah.
330,000. If you're single, then it's definitely enough. More than enough, but if you're with your family or like if you have a girlfriend or something, like the expenses are definitely going to shoot up, and it's kind of rough, definitely, if you're like trying to travel around or something. My rent's around 100,000 yen, including utilities.
600K. Yeah, around 100K. But it depends, like maintenance will add to, like water will add to this. Reach is around like Juni Mangura.
12 million yen per year. I live in it's called a 2 LDK in this place called Ebisu. So it's like a kind of big place for a nice area. It's 23 man per month. So it's about...
That's expensive.
8 million yen with my company right now per month. Of course, I have staff to pay and everything. But for my rent right now, so I'm moving into a new place, and the rent is about like 250 to 300,000 yen.
Oh, okay.
It's actually a 2 LDK, so we have like a room with like kitchen and chill, and 1 bedroom and 1 extra room maybe to work or for a guest.
I see. How did you get the job in the first place?
So originally, when I came to Japan, it was actually through a consulting company that I applied for. And this company was specialized in the pharmaceutical industry. So one thing about when you work in the consulting industry here, you will immediately start getting in-mails on LinkedIn from recruiters. So all I did was just follow up with a recruiter in-mail, and they got me this interview, and they liked my data science skills, so I was able to get the job.
This town revitalization program is from the government. So the government is hiring people on kind of like a freelance basis. And they pay them to go into these towns, try to promote them, start up businesses, move there for about 3 years, but it's a 1-year renewable contract. So every single year, depending on how your performance is, then you might get rehired for another year, and the maximum term is about 3 years. And currently right now, I play beach volleyball. So we go around the country and we play in beach volleyball tournaments. And at those tournaments, promoting the town through playing, as well as trying to sell some of the produce.
I found my job through Stack Overflow Jobs, and if you're a new grad or you have less than 3 years of experience, don't use LinkedIn Japan, because LinkedIn Japan is for people that has more than 3 years of experience. So don't waste your time. Like I made that mistake. Instead of that, use foreign-friendly websites like Wantedly and Stack Overflow, which are very good websites if you want to find a job here in Japan. And most of the companies there are foreign-friendly. Some companies speak English, so it doesn't require a high level of Japanese.
I wanted to work in Japan, but from France it was kind of difficult. So I decided to do a working holiday to find a job in Japan. And then I found it on Craigslist.
So basically, I started working in Japan. I worked for a wholesaler company selling like anime toys, B2B, to other companies. Then I started my own company. My boss back in days, he was very kind. He like supported me to make my own company. They became our first customer. So I have a couple of customers in the anime industry, like anime merch, figurines, and anime goods. And then we also do a lot with Japanese models, Japanese, idols, and we help them with their promotions abroad and with their fan sites. That's a very big part of our business.
I see.
After finishing university, I was looking for like different companies to join. It was a split between like Japanese startup companies that was paying well, or like well-founded English companies that had like the central language based around English. And during that time, I came across my company that I'm working in right now, where the central language is fully in English, so I don't have to learn Japanese to work, since it's an engineering job.
So how does weak yen situation affect your life?
From a business perspective, it does hurt a little bit because a lot of the currency that is used in international exchange is the USD, and the USD to yen ratio is about 1.5. So it's quite a lot.
Oh, terrible. Like it's super expensive to travel outside Japan. Like everything is so expensive outside Japan. In Japan, you don't see that much of a difference. But like when you go outside Japan, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's quite terrible to see the devaluation of the yen right now. That's why this is a great thing that I have some other income, so in euro, because like if I want to travel abroad, if I had to use my yen, everything would feel so expensive compared to how it was like 1 year ago. So that's why every time I want to travel abroad or go back home in France, I will use money that I have on my French account. So I don't get impacted by the depreciation of the yen.
The most obvious part, I would say, is I don't make a lot of money here. I don't need to make a lot of money being a student, but I don't make a lot of money. If I get potential job prospects in Japan, if the yen was a bit stronger, I would be jumping on that. But right now, I think it's almost wiser to go back home, unfortunately. So, yeah.
Especially because when I came here, the conversion was like 0.75, and now after 4 years, it's like 0.53. So it's like just seeing that plummet, and as a foreigner, it's depressing. So like as a Japanese person, I'm pretty sure it hurts more. It's definitely sad, but I'm just hoping that the market changes and Japan's gonna go all the way back up.
Yeah, especially I plan on going back home to New York for the first time in like 5 years. But the timing is so bad because all of my money is now in Japanese yen. So this trip is going to be financially difficult. That's the thing. I think the weak yen actually makes me want to stay in Japan even longer, since it's hard to travel overseas with this money.
Yeah, that's true, because as long as you're in Japan, you don't need to care, right? Do you kind of wish that you could make money in USD even though you're in Japan?
Oh, absolutely. Like I would love to find like a remote job somewhere in the States that will pay me directly in USD. I think that would be a great idea.
In fact, we do make money in USD and in yen. And that's very good right now because, as you know, the yen is super weak, and it's definitely profitable to somehow get money from abroad in euro or USD to Japan. Because if you go outside of Japan, like for example, my friends invited me to travel with them to invent abroad, I just said, oh no, I don't go. Like it's just so, the yen is too weak.
What did you do to get USD income while you were in Japan?
You definitely have to figure this one out. But in my case, it is like we have 1 or 2 bigger clients from abroad that want to do social media marketing in Japan. So I have Japanese staff, and we help them basically to grow their business in Japan, like build their website in Japanese, do like their social media in Japanese, or have them collab with Japanese influencers. And the second thing is, as I mentioned, we manage Japanese models, and their fan sites are from overseas, so people pay them in US dollars.
I see.
And so that's one big thing.
So any advice for those who want to work in Japan?
2 things. The first one is you need to learn about salary and negotiation. You can have a lot of skills. You can be a good engineer, you can be a good marketer, but it's crucial to know how to negotiate your salary. Because when you change your job, usually what companies do is like they take your current salary and they just add like between a 10 to 20%, and that will be your new salary for the next company. But if you learn about salary and negotiation, you can make way more money. You can get like 50% increase, even 100% increase if you know how to negotiate. And the second thing, and this is very, very, very important, you need to learn business Japanese with a private teacher. The website that you use to find a private teacher, make sure that the website has two important filters. One, that the teacher was born in Japan, and second, that the teacher knows business Japanese. Make sure that the teacher has experience working in a Japanese company in Japan, because that person will know how to write emails.
As many interviewees said, speaking fluent Japanese is crucial to find a good job in Japan. The fastest and most reliable way to learn Japanese is with a private Japanese teacher. My recommendation is Preply. For example, if you want to learn business Japanese, where you can see all available Japanese teachers who focus on business Japanese. Or maybe your goal is different and you want to pass JLPT, they also have a filter for that. Whatever your goals are, you can find the right teacher on Preply. You can also definitely find a tutor who fits your schedule. One of the best things about Preply is that how trustworthy the reviews are. Before booking lessons with any tutor, you can read the reviews to see how well they might work for you. Reading the review helps you find the perfect teacher who matches your learning styles and goals. You can receive the 50% discount on your first lesson of Preply by clicking the link in the description. Start learning Japanese by signing up for Preply. And who knows, once you become fluent enough, maybe I can interview you in Japanese and feature you in one of my videos. Okay, let's get back to interviews.
Learn Japanese, get to know Japanese culture and customs. I see a lot of foreigners, not because they like are trying to, but you know, they get a bit of looks from the locals. I mean, just try and really be prepared to assimilate yourself into this culture. It's hard to make friends. People are very shy here, so just learn to live with yourself for a bit. Yeah, don't rely on others. You got to be very independent. Yeah.
Well, learn Japanese first, because I feel like if you really want to work here and stay here for long term, you should learn Japanese and also learn to like kind of, you know, adapt to Japan, a Japanese way. Don't like force your other cultures, like, you know, understanding or opinion in Japan. I think that is so important because like some people can speak perfect Japanese, but then they act like they are not Japanese. In a way, they, like, for example, are angry about things or complain. But in Japan, most people don't complain. Like you just like accept it. You know, you have to like gaman and taeru and ayamaru and like just be more Japanese because otherwise you will get frustrated.
So I would say there's three things. First, you need to learn Japanese because why would a foreign company take you over a Japanese person? So if you're able to speak English, Japanese, and maybe another language, it will be really helpful. Second, you need to understand how Japanese works because like I know a lot of people who have like great skills and speak Japanese and everything, but here they don't adjust and are not flexible to like the Japanese culture, and they go back to their country after a few months, few years. So you really need to be sure that you really understand the Japanese culture and work there. And third, I would say you need to have like a lot of motivation because it might take times for you to find a job, maybe some weeks, some months, for some people, some years. But as long as you're motivated, you will always find a job.
I would say if you have any remote skills, that would be really helpful to get you started. But I would say that if you're a foreigner, it'd be better for you to try to start your own business because in Japan, everyone's super uniform. And if you were to do something that is a little bit different, that incorporates where you're from, I think that the Japanese people and the culture in general, they like new things. So they definitely support that as well as the international community.
I definitely recommend trying to work for a foreign company. I work for a German company, and their like code of ethics and working style is very good, and people treat you very well. If you're highly skilled, I think it's a great opportunity to be able to do that. And another thing, if you want to make friends outside of work, you can definitely come to popular places for foreigners like Yoyogi Park or Shibuya in the street and just talk to other friendly people.
What do you think are the highest payments job in Japan for foreigners, as far as you know?
Yeah, I have like lots of friends. Some working in finance, some working in marketing, some working in IT stuff. And yeah, usually being a foreigner, you would gain more money working for a foreign company in Japan, in Tokyo. Yeah.
100% software engineer. Like, you gotta become a software engineer. It's the only job that doesn't require a high level of Japanese, and you can make a good amount of money. So when I moved to Japan 9 years ago, my major was in IT consulting, right? So when I came to Japan, I wanted to work as an IT consultant, right? But I couldn't find a job. And the reason was because I didn't speak Japanese at that time. And to work as an IT consultant without experience and without speaking Japanese was impossible. And then I started learning about software engineer. I became a programmer, and it was one of the best decisions in my life.
So definitely the tech sector and pharmaceutical sector. I think pharmaceutical companies, especially foreign ones, are a pretty big market in Japan. If you come to Japan with some kind of technical skills already and very decent Japanese level, I think you have a good shot of getting like a 10 million yen a year job in that area.
Yeah, well, in my experience, I guess I've noticed a lot of new tech jobs are really in demand. I know in the United States or Canada, it's not really that much in demand. There's a lot of tech there. But if you come to Tokyo, there's a big need for engineers, especially foreign engineers, because there is not a lot of supply for them in Japan. It's just what I've noticed, though.
So I make 3D characters for video games. So I do that kind of thing. But if you are in India, most people do freelancing. So they live in India and they work for other companies. So they make more money than me. But if you're working in a company, then like it depends like how much experience you have, what kind of games are you working on, those kind of things. In Japan, if you'll make more money when you compare it to India.
I would say a really common and decent paying job is working in IT. So if you're a programmer, there's a lot of companies that really need that, especially in Japan, and you can make a pretty decent living. So a lot of foreigners are coming to Tokyo and being programmers and making a living that way.
As for like engineers, especially like in the IT field, it's pretty lax. Like, it's very chill. All we had to do is like finish the project before our deadlines or something. So there's not much pressure on us as long as you're proficient in your work.
What's it like working in Japan as an intern?
I mean, the difference, at least with the more Western countries and then Japan, is that it's very hierarchical. I mean, in Canada and the States, you can kind of get away with calling your boss like buddy or bruh or something like that, almost like they're your buddy. But in Japan, it's very like serious, very hierarchical. You know, you call your boss by san. And yeah, you really know your roles, I guess. I'm not complaining, but it's a difference. Another difference I would say is the time, right? If you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. So on time is late, 15 minutes early is on time. And so you got to be even more than 15 minutes, I would say.
Punctuality.
Yeah, oh God, you got to get to the office early. I mean, I start at 10, I get in at like 8:45 every day, you know, you got to be. And then at the end of the day, you can't leave before your boss. So I've been told, and most of my company, you know, the boss leaves and we're like, all right, let's pack up here, you know. But you can't be leaving before your boss yet.
How long are you planning to live and work in Japan?
Oh, forever. I love Japan so much with all my heart. Since I was a kid, it was my biggest dream to live in Japan. I've lived in 3 different countries. I can tell you, Japan is the best country in the world. The healthcare system here is fantastic. People are not eating or drinking the train. They are not like listening to music without their headphones. People are so educated. There is a convenience like everywhere. People are very polite. Of course, there are things that I don't like about Japan, but I love like Japan with all my heart.
Honestly, I want to stay as long as possible, probably settle here. It's been my lifelong dream since a kid that I wanted to move to Japan, and I've been to more than like 30 countries now, but out of them all, Japan's been my favorite.
Good to know.
Yeah.
So at the moment, it's a little bit undecided because since it is a freelance, we are allowed to work at a different company, at a job, or we could even start up our own company while working in this. So depending on how well things go, I could essentially live here the rest of my life.
That's a great question. Like, I just love my life here, and I built my career and kind of my friends and community here. So I'm going to say at least another 5 years before I consider going anywhere else.
I mean, if possible, forever, you know, I'll just work here, hopefully make a lot of money and have a Japanese wife and children.
Yeah, so I came mid-May. and I'm going to be here until like beginning mid of August. So not too long here. Yeah. If I was paid a little bit more, yeah, I would love to work here. I mean, the food is great, the people are amazing, and you know, everything's so clean and so good to get around. But I would definitely need to get paid a bit more, and maybe I would come back when the yen is a bit stronger. It's a bit weak. It's a bit weak right now.
Well, my visa is for 1 year, the working holiday visa. So maybe after 1 year, when my visa expires, I'm gonna try to apply for student visa or skilled visa. And I would like to stay in Japan maybe for 5 years or 5 to 6 years.
The reason I've been staying so long in Japan is because I'm working for a foreign company. So I think if I was working for a Japanese company in Japan, I would not have stayed that long in Japan. So I love Japan, I love the Japanese culture and everything, but the working culture is something really different. Being French, it would still be difficult for me to follow all the rules and the working culture and work for a Japanese company. So for now, I have like all the benefit of living in Japan without the inconvenience of working for a Japanese company. So life is perfect now.
Okay, thank you for watching so far. How was it? That was interesting. I hope this video will help you if you want to work in Japan. Okay, then, thank you for watching. If you like this video, click like button. Please subscribe to my channel. If you have any question you want me to ask people in Japan, please leave it a comment too. See you next time.